you look at radiation disasters, if you will. You got Chernobyl, 3 Mile Island, Fukushima, and there's this just general sense coupled in with the nuclear weapons that have been dropped and tested throughout the world, that there's this sense that radiation is bad, we need to avoid radiation at all levels. But there's actually a number of beneficial things that we can do using that radiation to greatly aid humanity. Can you kind of address some of those things?
Absolutely right. You know, I think that one of the problems is that nuclear power is a very great benefit to mankind. You know, we have our industrial society needs a lot of power, and it's a growing use of power,
right.
And we're cutting down coal-fired plants, replacing them in some levels with natural gas.
Right.
But we're right now emphasizing solar and wind energy. A problem with those is that they're very expensive and they're not on all the time.
Right. So, you know, where nuclear power would deliver regular power, you do have the issue of what do you do with the nuclear waste afterwards?
Yes. Well, I've looked into that, and there are actually 3 levels of waste there. The first is a short-lived, medium lifetime, and then the long lifetime. Now, the short and medium lifetime, and of course the point is that radiation always decays.
Right.
Radioactivity always decays. So if you keep a radioactive isotope around long enough, it's going to be safe.
Right.
So that if you take the isotopes that have short lifetimes, they can decay away until safety. The longer lifetimes can be reprocessed, and there's actually only a very small amount of long lifetime waste.
Right.
We nuclear engineers believe we have the technology to bury that safely.
Okay, so you do have this issue, but
yes.
It seems like very much a solvable problem, and there's a great benefit to using nuclear power because it's long-lived, stable, and there's a lot of resources.
There is. We have almost an unlimited supply of uranium for the power. It's inexpensive. It stays on all the time, and it is CO2 free, so it's got all the advantages.
It's green in that sense.
Green energy, yes.
I think another one that I find interesting is the idea of using radioactivity to irradiate foods for a preservative. At Iowa State, where I went to school, they were involved in doing that, but I know there was kind of a little bit of controversy about that because, you're using radioactivity, that's obviously got to be bad. Yeah,
exactly right. Now, the FDA has looked at irradiated foods and given them a very clean bill of health. But you can see a lot of the same people that are opposed to nuclear power are very vehemently opposed to irradiating foods as well, not realizing that all this really does is heat up the foods and kill the bacteria and enhance preservation.
Which that has a big role in developing countries and being able to distribute food and and do a lot to eliminate famine around the world. So there's a great benefit to it as well.
Exactly. We have enough food, and we can produce enough food to feed the entire world. It's a matter of economics and distribution and politics.
Keeping it around long enough,
too.
That's
right.
Well, not to mention just the health benefits of CAT scans and CT scans and all these other things that we use radiation to eliminate harmful procedures or procedures that can cause more damage.
Exactly right.
That we can just treat medical issues far more effectively.
Exactly right. And up until the mid-70s, when CT scanners were investigated, doctors did a lot more exploratory surgery.
Right.
Now you can just go into a CT scanner and reconstruct your inside using computers and X-rays and eliminate a lot of these surgeries. And yet people are getting radiation, and this scares them. But the radiation they're getting is so small, it's not even worth talking about.
Right, and think of how many people it saves as opposed to the few that might actually, and I would think that might be small, might actually be damaged.
I would really be surprised if I heard that anybody were damaged by the radiation from a CT scan. But even at that, the medical benefits are much greater than in the possibility of any problems.
Well, and it seems like this is a tool that God has given us, designed this universe and specifically this earth that has these radioactive sources that have a great benefit to humanity, that as we use them wisely, actually help us utilize His creation to live well in His creation as long as we don't fear them unnecessarily.